What's up, guys? If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, please smash that like button on the video and enjoy the show. Take this with an enormous grain of salt. When I was a little younger, I knew someone who had a family member in an extremely high place. Extremely high place. And, you know, he didn't run around saying it to people, but it was said one time, like, that his family member knew exactly who killed Kennedy, when, where, how, and why. Like, down to who was involved, everything, and he can never say. And that could be total bullshit. Let's just call that what it is. It could be someone blowing smoke up my ass. In fact, there's probably a 50% chance it is, maybe more. But if that is the case, that wouldn't surprise me to see that there are just some things that, like, you don't talk about. You just, it's beyond it, because as I always say, even though this is 60 years ago, like, people, including me, will complain. They're like, oh my God, they haven't released these goddamn reports. They keep pushing them kicking the can down the road here. At the same time, I then put myself in the shoes of these people, as badly as I want to see those things and as badly as I want to know for sure exactly what happened. I'm like, if they release this, and even some high-ranking people operating on their own, meaning not in a government context, but operating on their own, if they held the title of director of blank or general of blank, and it is on paper and proven, even if it's 60, 70 years later, we live in a society, and I understand this, where groups of people will be like, that can't exist anymore. It can't exist. As an example, my friend Jim DiOrio, special agent in the FBI, been on this podcast a bunch. He worked some insane investigations in his career, even before the FBI, when he was an Army Ranger. One of the cases he worked was TWA 800 in 1996. It was the plane that crashed, blew up, whatever, off the coast of Long Island, full civilian jet that was supposed to be going to Europe. And his role on that case was he was responsible for interviewing every expert pilot in the world, like, that they could get their hands on, and asking, name a way this could have happened. Just one. Even if it's a 1 billionth% chance. Name a way that this plane could have had that happen without something shooting it down. Every pilot said there is no way it was shot down. And so when you talk to Jim about what happened, he reflects the opinion of most of the people on the case here that worked it. He said it was, in almost all likelihood, an accident. We had a naval ship off the coast in Long Island.
Yep.
There was testing going on. It was an accident. They didn't mean to hit it. The point being, if that ever came out, though, it was a God's honest accident. No one was trying to shoot that down. There will be such a government outcry and litigation that now naval ships won't be able to test anything ever, which is a part of, like, our military behaviors that we have to do. So you understand what I'm saying? There's such a backlash that you are stuck in a lose-lose, where you either keep the secret and you're the asshole, like, government cover-up, or you let the secret out and now shit burns.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine many years ago saying, he said to me when we were actually discussing this, and I think he had read Garrison's book, or one of his books. Garrison wrote several, or a couple. We were, and this is even before, this is many years ago. I remember now. I was still an undergraduate in college, and we were having a discussion about Kennedy, and he said, "Who cares? What does it matter? You know, and this would have been in the 80s." You know, and his idea was, I want to keep going on down this road. My life is fine. How does this impact? You know, how does this impact me? And I think a lot of people ask those questions. I know that I have sometimes, you know, because it's really easy to get distracted with all of the peripheral issues in the case as it applies to who was involved and who was not involved, who had knowledge, who may have gained knowledge after the fact and has decided to hold back on. And and I think I could talk about this, I could study it, I could think about it, and have discussions with people for years and years. But is it going to accomplish anything? And then I always return back to two things. First off, as a medical legal person, I look at it and I think, well, this is a real stain on the history of my profession relative to how the president's remains were treated, what happened to them, how they were examined, how they were not examined. And then coming back from it, as sappy as it sounds, I'm a patriot. And he was my president, even if I was in vitro. He was our president. And I want to try to understand this. If there was, I can't make sense of it from a logical standpoint to try to understand the science and how that kind of marries up with what the reality is that we're faced with in the wake of this case, because it goes to, I think that it, I'm really getting out of my lane, but I think about it and I think about, when I first started having this discussion with you, Julian, a little while back, I said that we've become more cynical since the assassination. And I think that there is a general mistrust of officials. And a lot of it is because not everything has been released. They won't come out and give us all of the data so that we can make our own judgments. Maybe they don't trust us to make our own judgments. Maybe they're fearful of us making our own judgments. I have no idea. But I know that in my little slice of the pie, my little world, this defies any kind of reasonable explanation as far as the science is concerned. And it certainly runs contrary to anything that we would do in practice nowadays.
It offends something about the spirit.
It's very offensive, intellectually insulting, I think, is the way it kind of breaks down for me.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. Please hit that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.